Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin. You know, over the past year, NAUI has been in the process of doing a lot of introspection, having a good look at itself with all the strengths and weaknesses and the pluses and the minuses. And that result has been a great deal of new and revised programs, including something called the NAUI Business Institute. Dr. Joe Kilgore is the Dean of the NAUI Business College, and he joins us on the podcast. Do I call you Doctor or just Joe?
Joe was just fine. I'm a NAUI instructor first and a doctor much, much later.
All right, Joe. What was the impetus behind building and creating this business college?
Well, I think that the NAUI guys, the board of directors and some of the members saw a need to help out the business side of the house rather than the dive instructor side of the house. And we took a look at it, and what we found was a lot of the businesses needed help with just business kind of training and education, and how to run inventories, marketing, the actual business aspects of it, because a lot of folks get into it for their love of diving and really don't have the business background you need to run a small business.
And this is basically a course that teaches you how to run a dive business in addition to other aspects of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the piece that I've been working on is more the business side, and then trying to take the business principles and move them to the diving industry rather than the other way around, and try to reinvent the wheel and teach a small business owner how to be a diver. We're going to take the guys and teach them how to run a small business.
What has been the response from your perspective about the business college?
Well, we've had quite a few inquiries. I'm not sure how many folks have signed up for the initial one yet out at DEMA. I've been on the background side of that, putting the courses together, working on curriculum and that kind of thing, rather than the registration or marketing side. That's kind of been Derek Krotz at the headquarters. But from what the folks I have talked to, the local dive shops and my old friends from the diving industry, they all said it's needed and are very interested.
Talk a little bit about your background. What brings you to this particular, your skill set to go into this?
I have an educational background. I'm retired military, and in the military I kind of fell into the education field. I spent several years as a deputy commander at the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which actually owns the Army Special Forces Diving School. I went to the Army War College, taught there for a while, retired, and then got hired as the vice president of Civilian College. A few years later, I got called to come back and be the dean of academics for Joint Special Operations University at MacDill Air Force Base, and now I'm the chief of staff there. So I've kind of got the educational background, and my doctorate is in organization and management, so it's a business background degree and a master's in management. So they asked me to kind of help out with the academic side of the house.
Joe, talk a little bit about what people can expect when they pop into this course. It's a 2-day course, right?
That's correct. It's a 2-day resident course, and then we'll run 10 webinars to follow it up with specific information to follow them based on what we find as we go through this, to what the needs are of the people that want to take the courses. The things we're going to cover are dive business law, accounting, inventory control, operations, insurance, travel, marketing, strategic planning, social media information, how to use it. I'm teaching a course on leadership and management, kind of differentiating between the leadership of the people and management of the assets, time, and money. We're trying to be interactive and use adult learning techniques rather than just bore people to death with a lecture. We're going to help them either devise and write a business plan, or if they've got a business plan, we're going to have a team of experts review it and make suggestions on how to make their business better, more profitable, and easier to run.
And then, as you mentioned, this will be a follow-up with webinars afterwards, correct?
That's correct. We're planning on 10 additional webinars after the 2-day seminar.
Is there going to be any follow-up after that? I mean, dive shops wind up, they have questions, a year down the road. Can they follow up with people?
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of how they got me involved in this thing. Some of the folks that are teaching are from NAUI headquarters. We've also pulled experts in from the field throughout the industry, from Diver Alert Network, from manufacturing. We've got attorneys, insurance representatives going to teach those blocks. We'll have a list of subject matter experts that will be on call for follow-ups for the folks taking it. We'll see how it develops. We may have that for others that didn't take it as we develop this thing, because it's still fairly new. It's a new concept, and we're still kind of working through the first iteration.
And as you mentioned, it takes its premier bow at DEMA this year. How can folks get involved in that?
They can let the headquarters know now. If they'll contact NAUI headquarters, they can sign up for the program now. I will be there on Thursday, as well as at the NAUI booth. They can come by and ask questions and see us. I'm doing this as a volunteer thing. I'm not a paid dean, if you will. So I'll be available before, during, and after to answer questions and help anybody out I can. And well, I'll tell you right now, I'll volunteer my time to assist people later on if they need it as a follow-on.
I think a lot of dive shops should jump into this. Running a dive shop, I've worked with and for a dive shop for a number of years myself, and initially your thought is, oh great, I get to get good prices on gear and get first pick, and then all of a sudden the business aspect, I think, sinks in, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And like you, I've worked at several dive shops, both as an instructor and a part-time manager. Then I started a charter business several years ago. I still own. So I'm running a small business myself, and I understand the things that nobody thinks about, like filing your income taxes, sales tax collection, salaries, making payroll, keeping your operating inventory up so that you don't have to order every single thing someone wants, because that's just not a great way to turn a profit. So having experienced that also, if I had known back in the 1970s and 80s what I know now, I think we've done a much better deal.
Again, it's the NAUI Business Institute, and it promises to be, I think, a big boon for NAUI and obviously for the businesses that are going to take part of it. I appreciate you spending some time and chatting with us about that today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And like I said, let anybody know, contact us at NAUI headquarters, and we'll try to take care of them.
All right. Do that today. Contact NAUI, naui.org. Of course, you can check out the phone number as well. That's this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm Greg Martin. Thanks for listening. I'll see you underwater.